You sure that's all you want me to say? Well, what else can you say? It just seems so cold. Nobody would talk like that to a girl whose grandpa just disappeared. Shouldn't I tell her I'm sorry or tell her you were... Just keep it short and sweet. I'm telling you, this way is best, he assured before giving her soft hand an affectionate squeeze. He slid his cell phone across the bar top toward her. His granddaughter Janelle's phone number waited on the screen. All Connie had to do was press the little green button. Connie gazed at the phone warily, like it was a temperamental lizard that could snap at her fingers at any moment. While she dithered, Bill could feel the seconds ticking by. He felt it more at his age, but they seemed to be whipping by him faster tonight, faster than his old eyes could register. He wondered, has it happened yet? Will it be too late? Gradually, Connie reached for the phone. Bill released the pent-up breath he didn't know he'd been holding. He watched as she slowly rose from the bar stool and walked across the room to seek a quiet place that was far away from the ringing of slot machines, the clinking of glasses, and the roar of conversations and laughter. With her long, dark hair pulled back into a braid at the nape of her neck, he could see her face clearly. She still looked uncertain. Connie gave one last hesitant glance at little Bill over her shoulder, before continuing on her path and disappearing behind old-fashioned saloon doors. Little Bill motioned to the bartender to pour him his second whiskey. That's when the finger-tapping started. He started playing a 6-beat that he could have hand-danced to in the old days. He looked down at his hands and realized for the first time that he was nervous. He wasn't worried that Janelle wouldn't come to Mammoth Falls. He knew his granddaughter. If she heard her pops had disappeared in the mountains somewhere and needed to be found, his baby girl, his little Miss Fix-It, would come running. But he was starting to have misgivings about what the aftermath would be. When Janelle found out he hadn't gone missing, she'd certainly be angry, maybe even furious. She might not want to talk to him for a while. But that was a risk he was willing to take. He couldn't let Janelle marry that man. I want to ask you for Janelle's hand, Mark, Janelle's boyfriend, had said to little Bill by phone that morning, sounding almost giddy. And for what? Bill had asked distractedly as he stood near the gas pump, muttering to himself about the rising price of unleaded. And in marriage. I planned to ask her to marry me at our housewarming party tonight, but I realized, belatedly, that I should ask you first. You know, get your blessing. With you being the closest thing she has to a father and everything. It seemed appropriate. Janelle told me you were busy and couldn't fly here to Virginia for the party, so I wanted to give you a quick call. A quick call, he thought. Like asking Bill to hand over one of the most precious things in the world to him was a perfunctory chore. At Mark's words, little Bill had fallen silent. He'd stared at a U-Haul truck that had pulled up to the pump next to him. Probably needs a new fan belt, he'd thought dazedly as he listened to the truck whine and screech. He had stood silently for so long that Mark had started to wonder if he was still on the phone line. Bill? Bill, did I lose you? No, I'm here, Bill had answered before regaining his bearings. Look, Janelle don't need me or anyone else to give her away. She don't need my permission to get married. She can make up her own mind. Well, I suppose she can, Mark had replied after a pregnant pause, sounding mystified. That wasn't what I was...